everybody! Hi, welcome to CS Escapism. My name is Amit, and happy Valentine's Day! It's Valentine's Day. Yeah, so today we're gonna spread our love. We're gonna do heart-shaped flower, 3D flowers with kind of heart-shaped leaves and all those things. Um, Hi to the guys in the chat. Hi Mark. Hi everybody. Welcome everybody that sees the recording. Yeah, let's just jump right into our code. Yeah, so here we are in CodePen. Let me just turn down the music. Yeah, the music is okay. So here we are in CodePen. We're getting started at basically nothing. All we have is just an empty scene here. And in my CSS, I have just this basic reset. On the body, I have these colors. Actually, let's change this black background to a very like bluish, dark blue. Yeah. Maybe it would be better with the colors of the flower, of the green and red of the flowers. We don't need this color. We have the display grid just to set everything in the center. We have the perspective because we are going to use 3D today, and we are using transform style of preserve 3D for all of the children because we want all of the elements to have the same vanishing point, to live in the same 3D space. So actually talking about 3D space, this is the scene. Before we're going to talk about the flower, let's talk about, let's create this like a floor, because we want this to be a space, and a floor just give us another element, this depth element. So here in our HTML, let's start with the floor, and we're gonna create a floor class here in our CSS. It's gonna be position absolute, obviously. I'm gonna use an inset of let's make it big, so like 1000 px. And let's background color. Yeah, so it's white. This is our white floor. Let's add a transform to it. First, let's rotate it on the x-axis so we can like lay it down. So let's rotate on the x-axis 90 degrees, and then now we won't now it's like this. Why is it like this? You don't supposed to see it actually. Never mind, but we are going to add another translate. Let's say the translate, we're going to want to move it downward, so let's say 200 pixels. And yeah, but why do we see it like this? What have I forgotten? Have I missed something? No. The thing is relative. Okay, you know what? Let's add, just because something looks weird here, I want to add a mouse a mouse tracking on the body. When I move the mouse, I want the perspective to change. And I did like a whole article about mapping the mouse position with pure CSS, but we can do it with 3 lines of JavaScript. So let's add a document. Oops. Document, add event listener. We're going to add a simple event listener for mouse move, and on the mouse move we're going to create a simple function. Function. So what we're going to do here, we're going to set the document body, but we actually need the style because we are working with CSS. When we're working with JavaScript, we are just setting CSS custom properties. So let's do set property. The first one is the X, and we can use client X, but this is just going to give us like if actually we can see it. Let's do inspect. So you can see here in the body, when I move the mouse, you can see the number of pixels, but this number is going to change based on the width of the screen, because right now here the number is 800, but when it's a thinner screen, so it's now 200. So all we can do is just put it over window inner width. So now I just have a number between 0 and 1, and again, let's do inspect. So you can see it's a number between 0 and between 1, and even if it's a wider screen, it's still a number between 0 and 1. So it's just easier to work like that. And we're going to do just the same thing for the Y, but obviously client Y, and we need the inner height. So now, that's it. Now we can go here to the scene. Let's create, let's do a transform. And we're gonna use those two variables, this X and Y. So the rotate X, we're gonna use the Y on the X-axis, and because when I move the mouse on the Y-axis, I actually want to rotate it around the X-axis. So rotate X, let's do a simple calc of var Y, let's say times 40 degrees. So now we can actually see it. If I put the floor back on, yeah, we can see when I move the mouse, we can see something is moving. Actually, it's supposed to be minus 40 degrees. Yeah, okay, and now we can actually see this floor, and it actually looks better already. Okay, because I didn't see those corners earlier. Don't know why. Maybe if I put it like this. Yeah, that just the angle was not right. Yeah, so now we can actually see the angle. And we can also add pretty much the same thing. I'm going to copy it. Rotate on the Y-axis. Oops, rotate Y. But we need the X variable. And let's make it like 180 degrees because we want a big rotation. So now when I move it on the X-axis, you can see the rotation around the Y-axis. When I move it on the Y-axis, you can see the X. Maybe we'll move it. Maybe we'll remove it later on, but it's easier now to work with. Okay, so now we can actually see this big white square as the floor, but we want to make it a bit prettier. Let's hide it. Floor. First of all, let's remove the white color. I saw before people, yeah, not empty. Okay, so actually I have this chat. Okay, so Mark asked a question about using the not empty transform style. I have used it a lot of the times. The problem is that if an element has a pseudo element in it, like a before and after, so it's still empty. But I do want to use the transform style of Preserve 3D even if the element is empty, but it's not really empty. It has pseudo elements inside of it. So this is why I removed the not empty selectors. I hope I got a proper answer, Mark. Where were we? Here, yeah. Background color. Let's make it sand, because sandy brown, because it's a flower, so the flower needs to grow on sand. Yeah, okay, but let's add, thanks Mark, let's add a background image. So the background image, let's start with a simple radial gradient. We want to move it to the closest side. We're going to start with a basic transparent in the middle, and then the color that we used, that was that, I think. Yeah, this is the background color of the body. So this is, okay, so now we have this fade, but actually it looks okay. But let's do a comma, and let's add repeating linear gradient. We're gonna do another simple one from transparent 0, and then do like a black but with a very high opacity, so even maybe the highest opacity we can, and then again to transparent at like 10 pixels. So now we have these lines. Wow, it actually looks great. Why is this not in the center? Looks like it's not in the center. Never mind. Yeah, okay, we added this one. Let's add a couple of more, but let's add it like 60 and 120. So now we have this weird pattern on the floor. That looks okay. And I'm actually going to add another thing, another radial gradient right here on top. But this one is actually going to go from black to transparent. Okay. but I'm gonna add a very close colors, a hint actually. So let's say like maybe 2%. So now I'll have this little dot in the center, and this dot will be the like the shadow of our flower. Maybe one, but there's something going on here because it's not centered, and I really don't know why. This is the nice thing about live coding. Things happened. Yeah, okay, so that was my mistake. Okay, I translated it, I just wrote a translate, and I meant to write translate Z. So I actually translated it on the x-axis. Yeah, so translate Z. Yeah, okay, so now the dot is in the center and everything looks as I expected it to look. Yeah, maybe 200 is too much. We can adjust it later on. Yeah, okay, I think the floor is fine for now. Maybe we can play with the shadow later, but for now, let's talk about the flower. So here you have the flower, the floor, and we're gonna need a flower. But as I said, the flower is gonna be made out of heart shapes. So let's start with a basic heart, okay? We're gonna create this heart class here. Sorry. And I'm gonna use, it's going to position absolute. I'm gonna add a left of 50%. We're gonna play around with the top later on, or maybe not. I'm gonna leave it for now. But I'm not gonna shape the heart inside of this heart element. I'm actually gonna use a pseudo element for the heart, and this is why I've used Mark. This is why I've used this one, because I knew I'm gonna use pseudo elements, and you're gonna understand why I'm using pseudo elements in a second, and not working on the heart element itself. So this is obviously need a content, an empty content. It's gonna be position absolute. Let's give it an inset of -50 pixels and background color of white. And so I gave it -50 pixels because I want it to be like 100 pixels on each side. So let's actually let's see it. Maybe I'll draw just a simple explanation. Yeah. So like the center, the heart element is like a simple point right here in the center. Red. It's right here in the center. So the pseudo element is inset -50 pixels on each direction. Okay, so because it's -50 and this is 50 and this is 50 and this is 50, this is 50, so this is 100 and this is 100. So the final dimension is 100 pixels over 100 pixels. Okay, so this is the after, and to make this square into a heart shape, I'm gonna use clip path, and we now can use clip path of path. That you just add like a path, like a simple SVG path. And we're going to do a very simple path, relatively. We're just going to use a couple of arcs and a couple of Bezier curves, like this. So again, what we're going to do, maybe I can draw it again. Yep. So it's not really square. Let's remove this, this transform for now. Yeah, that's going to be better. So now, here's what I plan to do. Okay, so imagine this is our grid, and let's make it like a grid of like 4 by 4. Okay, it would look better if when I drew it not by hand. So we're gonna start right here. So remember this starting point is 50 on 25. Okay, remember these numbers, and we're gonna do one simple arc to here. This is going to be one arc. Then we're going to move to this point. Okay, and by the way, this arc is 50. It's on the same y-axis, but it's going to move 50 on the x-axis and 0 on the y-axis. And then we're going to move to this point. We're going to use a Bezier curve, so like this. But this moves -50, 75. Okay, and then once we have those two, it's just we're going to copy this curve to here, and then we're just going to copy this arc to there. So it's going to be pretty much just these two lines, points actually, and then we're just going to copy them. But just remember these numbers. So let's start. M is the initial. We said it's going to start at 50 by 25. Then we are using an arc. An arc is, they're getting 7 arguments. The first 2 is the radii, and we know it's 25. I'm not going to talk about those middle 3 flags, but most of you is going to use them like this. And then we're going to move to 50. Oh, it's not supposed to be on the content. It's supposed to be in the path. Excuse me. We said 50 and 0. So already now, yeah, we can see this basic are the first shape that we drew. Now we need a Bezier curve, and this curve, again, it gets, as you can see, it gets two control points and the x and y. So let's leave the control points 0 for now, and the x and y, we said it's minus 50, 75. So we can, yeah, we can already see the shape. And actually, should start using it more. So what we're going to do, this is the initial point, this is the end point. We're going to add one control point right here in the bottom, and the second control point is going to be right here in the top. So we're going to get something like that. This is what we're kind of aiming for. So the first control point, let's make it 0 by 25, and the second control point is minus 50, minus 50. So minus 50 plus 50, excuse me. Yeah, so we're getting something that looks like half a heart, okay? And as I said, once we have this, all we need to do is just, let's copy this Bezier curve, and now we need to move it up. So let's just change the y-axis from positive, from 25 to minus 25, from 50 to minus, and from 75 to minus 75. Yep. And the last thing is just to copy this arc to the last, to the end here, because it's the same arc, the same size. Yep. And we have something that looks like a heart. Actually, let's change the color to red. No, let's make it even better. Let's make it a variable, because maybe we're going to change it later on, but we're going to leave the red as a default. Okay, now this looks like a heart. That's great. And we're going to use this basic shape to make our flower. So let's start. Actually, before the flowers, let's create the leaves, the leaves at the bottom that the flowers comes out of. So let's create leaves, and in those leaves, we're going to start with a single leaf, okay? The first one, excuse me. So what we're going to do, okay, so I'm going to put an eye element, and inside of this eye element, I'm going to put another eye element. And inside of this eye element, I'm going to put another eye element, because I want to have 3 nested eyes inside, and you're going to understand why in a second. And we're going to move this heart into the third eye. Okay, so I have an eye, and an eye, and an eye, and then the heart inside of it. So let's leave it like this so we can see it. And here, yeah, let's go to the leaves. And the leaf is going to be position absolute, and I'm going to move it downward. So let's set the top to 200 pixels. Just, oops. Okay, just so the center would be at the center of the this I don't know, this floor. Let's get this transform back so we can see it. Yeah. Okay. It looks okay. Kind of okay. So now, this is the leaf, the top. Yeah, okay. But let's talk about the eye, because inside of these leaves, I have these eyes, and let's make each eye, it's supposed to be obviously position absolute. Let's give it a width of it's like the stem of the flower. So let's make it a width of 4 pixels and the height of, let's say, 80 pixels. We're gonna change it in a second. Let's give it a background color. Let's make it a lime green. And why can't we see him? Let's give them a bottom of 100%. Okay, so now if let's turn this again off. Okay, if we inspect this these elements, you can see. Okay, so I have the leaves. This is the basic, and it's just a dot right here. And the first eye is just right here, and it's because it's just 80. The second eye, because it's position absolute on the bottom 100%, so it's above it. And this is the second eye. The third eye is right above that, and the heart is just above. It's actually like in the it's above it. So here, this is what I'm getting at, and the nice thing is because you're working with nested elements, for example, so what you can do is like give them a transform of, let's say, rotate on the x-axis, axis, let's say 30 degrees. Oh, but we need to set the transform origin to bottom. Okay, and if I'll get this one back. What did I miss? I forgot this one. Okay, so you can actually see those three types, and this later on I'm going to add like an animation to the flower itself that's going to swing back and forth. But now we're working on the leaves, but I do want the leaves to have like this bend inside of them. And this looks okay. I did set, it's supposed to be 50%. Yeah, okay, so now it's in the center. It wasn't centered before. Okay, let's leave it like that for now. One thing, if you look at the eye, at this element from the side, you can see it doesn't have any thickness. It's like disappearing at a certain angles. So what I can do, I'm gonna put it like here. I'm gonna say that eye after. Again, it's need empty content. It's gonna be position absolute, and it's gonna be inset of 0, so it's gonna be the exact same size of the eye itself. We're gonna give it a background of inherit, so whatever the color of the eyes, this is the color of the after, and we're gonna add a simple rotate. Let's say on the y-axis, 90 degrees. So now you can see these lines, and from whatever direction you look, because they're like intersecting with each other, the eye element and the after element. So whatever direction you're going to look at it, it would look like a 4-pixel line. So it looks better. Yeah, so back to the leaf itself. So I have this eye. The eye looks okay. Let's talk about the heart. And I'm going to do a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to add a transform. I'm going to rotate it just 180 degrees, so it would look more like a leaf shape. And then let's translate it on the y-axis. On the y-axis, 25 pixels. Yeah, looks better. And now let's... how should I change? Okay, I'm gonna change the color. Let's change the color for now. Actually, it's not this, so the color needs to be set on the after. So let's change the color for now to green. Okay, starting to look more like a leaf. But I actually am gonna add a background image. In the background image, I'm gonna do a few things. First of all, let's start with a simple. Let's copy it from the floor, just cause I don't know. This one. Here. Well, we don't need this one, okay? Yeah, let's make it about 45 degrees. Okay, that looks maybe a bit darker. Let's make it 3. Okay, that looks okay, but I need it like on the half of a leaf, not on the entire leaf. So let's make the background size 50%. 50% on the x-axis, so now I have only half of it. But I also need to add a background repeat of no repeat. Okay, yeah, okay. So now I have these lines only on half of the leaf, but I need lines on the other half. So let's add a comma. And this is supposed to be minus, and then we're gonna add a background position X of 0%, 100%. Okay, that's starting to look nice, but I want like a line in the center, because those leaves like have this thicker, darker line in the center. So let's add another one in the center, 50%. We're gonna put it here. Actually, this is gonna be a simple linear gradient. Yeah, something like that, but maybe it's like 40% and 60%. Oh, and it's obviously supposed to be 90 degrees. Yeah. Yeah, okay, that looks like a leaf. We can play around with it, but that looks nice for now. The thing is, I don't want just one leaf. I want a few, but first, what I wanted to explain. Okay, so here in the leaves, in the eye, so I have 3 levels of eye, right? So this selector selects all of those 3. If I want to select just the first one, so I need to select to use the direct sibling selector. So this one. So now I can set a style only for the first eye. So for example, I can set this height to like, let's say 100 pixels. Okay, so and like these ones to like 40. So you can see that the first one was gonna be up. Why doesn't it work? Let's set it afterwards. Okay, so you can see that the first one is actually higher because it's 100 pixels and the rest is 40. So we can actually set the other like 80%. So now this one is 100. These two are. This one is 80% of the 100, and the last one is 80% of the second one. It's just, you can use, if you make it like 40, it would be more noticeable. Yeah, you can actually see the difference. Let's make it 75, and let's make this height also 75 for now. Yeah, okay, so as I said, we want more than one leaf. Hi everything binary. Hi guys in the chat. Yeah, okay, so we're making leaf. As I say, want more leaves. Let's make let's turn this entire leaf into one row just for now, so it would be easier. Okay, so this is one leaf, but let's make 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12 leaves. Okay, I have 12 leaves. So let's come here to the leaves, and we're actually going to create a loop right here for I from 0 to 12. 12 leaves? I had 12? Yeah, I think so. So again, I can select just the eye. I need to select this one. Okay, I nth child I plus 1. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, when you're working with nesting elements, there's a lot of nice things you can do. I'm just touching the surface right now. Yeah, okay, so now I'm selecting each one of those eyes, and again, I'm selecting each one of those initials eyes. Okay. Oh, first, you know what I need to add? I need to add a left here. Oops. A left of -2 pixels, because the width is 4 pixels. And I can see that it's not centered, and yeah, now it's better. Okay, so first of all, let's add first of all the rotate. Okay, so the rotate, I want to rotate on the y-axis. I want them to rotate around the center. Let's make it simple random. No, actually, we have 360 degrees. Let's divide it by 12 and multiply it by I. So that would be better. It would be equal. Yeah, okay, so now I have something like that. But I want this rotate here to be var rx because I want it to be random. I don't want it to be like 30 degrees. So let's set this variable here. Random, and let's say somewhere between 10 and 35. So random 25 plus 10, and obviously degrees. Yeah, okay, so now each one of them is in a different degrees in a different direction. That's starting to look nice. I do want to randomize the height, because, you know, why not? But let's say like 50 plus, maybe, you know, maybe let's say 40 plus 40. So the minimum is 40, the maximum is 80. Okay, that's kind of nice. You know, let's change this, maybe 30. And again, you can obviously play around with it. Okay, one more thing. I want to animate I want to change the colors because they're all right now the same color. So right here, this instead of setting this right here, I can set it right here. But I won't do it green. I'm making an HSL 120. This is the hue of green. So if I do like 100% and 50%, so it would be like a very strong lime green. But instead of 50, yeah, we can play with the light. Let's say random. Let's do like 100 over. You know, let's do random of 20. So it's just plus 20. So it's just a number between 20 and 40. And now we have different leaves. That's great. And the last thing, right here on the heart, and this is the reason I'm using a heart and an after inside of it, because I wanted to use a filter of a drop shadow. If I want to use the filter on the heart itself, on the after itself, it won't work because the after is getting clip path, and you can't do shadows on something that has a clip path. So I'm doing the clip path on the after, and I'm putting the shadow on the heart itself. So let's do like 0, 0, 25 pixels, and like this type of black. Yeah, and this looks much better. Look, give this tiny details, give them depth. Actually, that's I think it's too much. Like 25. 27. Yeah, okay, again, you can play around and fine-tune those numbers if you want to. So these are the leaves, but let's talk about the flower, the main flower that comes out of them. Let's clean this a second. We don't need this. Yeah, that looks okay. So now let's go to our HTML, and we have a flower. And inside of this flower, I'm going to copy just one of those leaves. Let's make it more spacious so we can see what's going on. And I copied the HTML. I'm going to copy the entire CSS, and then we're going to clean it up afterwards. Okay, so let's do like this. Okay, let's do this. And let's change this from leaf to flower. So this is the same thing. The eye, obviously, I don't need this transform because I'm gonna set it in a second. Let's do the height. Let's say 100 pixels. Yeah. Maybe it's okay. Maybe we're gonna play it. Let's comment this loop. Comment it out for now. And the heart, I'm not going to use the filter. So about the transform, maybe I don't need this, but if I rotate it like this, maybe it's supposed to be a minus. Let's say 40. Whoops, 40. I meant, right? Because if I put it like 50, so you would see the end right here. Yeah, so this is not good, but 40. Yeah, that looks better. And we don't need all of this, but we are gonna add like a different background image in a second. Yeah, okay, so this is like the basic flower, and as I said, I wanted to have like an animation that it swings back and forth. So let's come here to the eye. We're gonna put an animation of flower. Let's say 5 seconds, and I am gonna put infinite because I want it to run infinitely, easing out, because this is like the movement of a swing, something that swings back and forth, so it's easing back and forth. And of course I'm going to use alternate, again, back and forth, alternate. And the keyframes for the flower, sorry. So let's add a from, transform, rotate. Let's rotate it on the x-axis, I don't know. So let's say from minus 10 degrees. Maybe 10 is too much. Let's say minus 5 to plus 5. We don't need the plus, obviously. Yeah, so now you can actually see that it's swinging back and forth. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, just little tiny movement. We want something that moves. But okay, let's talk about the main flower up here. So first let's add a background image, but I'm gonna do something different. Don't need any of that. Let's start with a simple linear gradient, and the linear gradient is gonna start with a transparent on the top and then move to black on the bottom. Okay, just because the bottom is more shaded than the top, that's great. But I want to add like a bright part in the center. So I'm gonna do a simple, simple radial gradient. It's gonna start with a white and then go to transparent. But the white is supposed to be very mild, so let's do like, let's do like 3. No, that's too much. I'm gonna settle for 4. Okay, so now I have like this bright area in the center and bottom. Okay, so now we want to rotate them, and what I want to do, so I'm gonna activate this loop. Okay, well, first of all, I have just one heart here, obviously, so I'm gonna keep only 3 eyes because I only have 3 part of the stem, but I want to have more hearts. So let's have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know, 9. Okay, so for I 1, 2, 9, and so again, instead of selecting the eye, obviously, what we can do is select the heart. Ooh, this is not heart, nth child. Okay, and what we want to set. Actually, let's. So right now we are setting this transform right here, right? We don't need it here because what we want. Let's copy the transform. Where's the leaf? I want to copy the transform of the eyes themselves. You know what? No, forget about it. Let's do it ourselves. So we want to do a few things. So first of all, we want to rotate them on the y-axis, excuse me. I know I had them. I had this something like that. Oh yeah. Okay. So forget about it. Let's do it ourselves. This is our loop. We have 0 for 9. I'm selecting each one of those heart, and right now I'm translating them. But before I'm translating them, I want to do 2 things. First, I want to rotate them on the y-axis. And again, let's do simple 360 degrees divided by 9 times I. So now I have something weird like that. Okay. Starting to. But now let's add a rotate on the x-axis, and here I'm just going to use a very simple random of 30 degrees. And yeah, now we have something that looks like petals of a flower. Yeah, okay, actually now, because we're not using this here, I can set this background image right here on the heart. Oops. Clip path. So now we don't need this entire selector, it's just like this. Yeah, and I think 100 pixels is too much. Let's change it to, like, say 80. Yeah, much better. Yeah, guys, any comments in the chat? Any thoughts? Any things that you think I should add? I'm gonna think. Oh, thanks. I think that's nice. Yeah, let's see if I forgot anything in the code. I think that's nice. I think we have like something that looks like a heart. Thanks. Like a heart-shaped flower. Again, you can take it and you can add anything from butterflies and stars in the sky, and add more flowers and add more animations to the leaves themselves if you want to. But I think I'm gonna leave that as is for now. Of course, I'm gonna publish everything later on, including the full code and this video. So that's it. I think. Yeah. So. Yeah, so thanks you for being here. I hope you like the final result. I think let's just put it in the screen. Yeah, that's better. I hope you liked it, and I hope you like these things. What I wanted to say, I've done some basic path here. I've used basic path of SVGs, and if you like more content like this, just let me know so I can do more SVG stuff. I actually have this video that I recreated this shapes using nothing but SVGs, and there's a live coding video of me doing it. I'm gonna add the code in the link in the description. Yeah, and that's it. Thanks, Leah. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, hi Roland. Thanks, yeah, guys in the chat. Thank you. That's it. Hope you like it. See you next week. I don't know what I'm going to do next week. If you have any ideas, write to me. Tell me what do you want me to do. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Bye for now. See you next time.